Value for money in this hobby? Yeah, that's the punchline. If it was about price to features, we'd be flashing our bare wrists and checking our phones for the time like cavemen. But hey, we all have thoughts on value. Right before we say, screw it, I'll buy it. So here's my top 10 overpriced watches I can't help but love. The Bell & Ross BR0392 Bronze Diver should be everything I hate about a watch. First off, it's big, and I mean big. Like my wrists are so scrawny that Skeletor himself would look at his own wrist and consider going on a calorie-controlled diet. Then there's the bronze case. Normally, I want my stuff to look shiny and new, not look like it's been pulled from the Titanic. Who wants a watch that'll turn green and look like it's actually rotting on your wrist? And don't even get me started on limited editions. I'm not one for exclusivity at the best of times, but when the brand says limited and then cranks out 1,000 versions with minor tweaks like, oh, the dial is now a slightly different shade of grey, it drives me insane. And for $6,000 with a Sleater SW300 inside? I'm team. If it's over $4,000 and doesn't come with superpowers, I'm out. Usually. Yet, here I am, staring through the AD window at this chunky, dirty patina-prone, overhyped, overpriced diver. And I'm obsessed. I can't help it, but I love it. The Citizen Tsuyosa is everything the Tissot PRX should have been. And then some. You've got a solid case, a decent bracelet, an automatic movement, and a dial that's bold, colourful and simple, yet oddly satisfying. And at around $400, what's not to love? So why is it on this list? Well, we're not talking about your run-of-the-mill Tsuyosa. Oh no, the customisers over at IFL have had a go, creating hand-painted dials that are more like mini masterpieces. For over $1,000 though, it's not exactly a bargain. But can you really put a price on art? Take their most iconic splattered version. Sure, I could grab a basic Tsuyosa and channel my inner Jackson Pollock. But it's been 30 years since I last painted an Airfix model, and my Humbrol paints are probably solid bricks by now. So yeah, I'll bite the bullet, IFL it is. I'll admit it, I'm a bit of a Panerai fanboy. Not quite the fully fledged Paneristi member, but if I had the funds, I'd have a collection big enough to make them proud. So when Panerai announced a smaller, thinner, watered down version of the Luminor called the Luminor Due, I was excited. Finally a Panerai I could afford and wear comfortably every day, even to the beach or pool. But apparently Panerai had other ideas. A highly polished case? Alright, I can live with that. It actually looks pretty slick dressed up for the summer ball. But a snap-on case back, giving a whopping 30 metres water resistance on a Panerai? Really? And let's not forget the price. Over $8,000 for the privilege of dodging the rain to keep the watch intact. Only a fool would go for such a deal. So where do I sign up? When I heard U-Boat dropped a 40mm watch, I was intrigued. Finally, a U-Boat that is no longer reserved for the wrists of a silverback gorilla. Then I spotted the bubble. An oil-filled watch. You know the drill. First, it looks as cool as hell. Second, it drastically cranks up the water resistance. But of course, the trade-off for an oil-filled watch is swapping an automatic movement for a quartz. No biggie though. Sure, it's $1,500, but it's unique, tough and built to outlast you. But wait, 50 metres water resistance on a watch named after a submarine? They filled it with oil and still capped the depth at 50 metres. The U-Boat Darkmoon 40mm is neither a tool watch that serves a purpose nor a dress watch admired for its beauty. The most useless overpriced watch ever? It's certainly up there. But where's my credit card again? The Japanese Kuoe Old Smith is a delightful throwback to a time when watches were simple, understated and built to last. With its 38mm case, NH35 movement and vintage inspired design, it's like wearing a slice of mid-century style on your wrist without feeling like you've raided your granddad's dresser. What really stands out is the charm. It's got that classic field watch look, but with a softer, more refined edge. It's not here to compete with rugged beasts like the Hamilton Field Mechanical. Instead, it's the watch you wear when you want a nod to the past with a bit more polish. But at this price point, comparisons with the Hamilton are inevitable. Sure, the Kuoe costs a bit less, but with a century of heritage behind Hamilton, the Kuoe starts to feel a bit overpriced, especially given its basic beta movement. Logically, the choice should be easy. Save a little more and get the Hamilton. But I just glanced at that dial again. Damn it. I'll take the Kuoe. It's not like I care about resale value anyway. The Breitling Superocean 42, the dive watch that reminds you how much you don't dive, but makes you look like you're always ready to. With its rugged charm and 300 metre water resistance, it's prepared to conquer whatever you throw at it. Though, let's be real, it's probably only going to go as far as the hotel's all-inclusive poolside bar. Now, about the price. At around $5,000, you're getting a watch that's undeniably beautiful, but housing a Sellita SW200 movement. A respectable engine, sure, but not the in-house exceptionally crafted wonder you'd have hoped for at that price. Imagine buying a first-class ticket and realising you're still stuck in economy, just with a little extra leg room, and you have my view on the latest Superocean. Speaking of water resistance, Breitling has a curious habit of shrinking the depth rating whilst inflating the price with each new Superocean. Remember when it was rated to 2,000 metres? At this rate, we might soon be looking wistfully at today's 300 metre model while we squint at the dial of our new 50 metre Superocean. But here's the thing, the vibrant dial colours, the robust case, that iconic Breitling logo, it's like a guilty pleasure. Even knowing it's overpriced, I can't help but want one. It's irrational, it's indulgent, but sometimes love is blind, and a bit expensive. The classic design of the G-Shock Square has been around since the 80s, and for good reason. It's built like a tank, can survive a 10 metre drop, has 200 metres water resistance, and the battery seems to last longer than most relationships. And at around $100, it's the ultimate value for money watch, tough, reliable and timeless. Sure, it won't win any elegance awards, but who cares? This thing is made to be beaten up and keep ticking. It's like a legend on your wrist, and at that price, an unbeatable one. So how does Casio top this success? By making it expensive, very expensive, almost $5,000 expensive to be exact. Enter the MRG B5000. Handcrafted high-end materials polished to perfection and still carrying the G-Shock toughness. Yes, it'll survive a 10 metre drop, but let's be real, would you want to test that with a $5,000 watch? And that's the catch. A G-Shock that you need to treat with care kind of defeats the whole purpose. It's a crazy concept that works against itself, but damn, it's gorgeous. And yes, I still want it. At just under $650, the Seiko Antarctica Monster is an absolute steal. You get a bold 42mm case, 200 metres water resistance, and a watch that looks like it was created in a lab run by the abominable Snowman. Powered by Seiko's trusty 4R36 movement, it's reliable and rugged, plus that frosty blue dial, gorgeous. The only real monster here is the value for money. You won't find another watch this tough, this cool, at this price. But how about quarter of the price? By leaving most of your hard-earned cash in the bank, you could pick up a Heimdalla with nearly the same look, comparable quality, and even an upgrade, sapphire crystal no less. So does that make the Seiko overpriced and underspec? I guess so, but Mrs. Looms would only spend it on more makeup, so the Seiko it is. The Omega Aqua Terra is the ultimate fusion of sport and sophistication. Its sleek minimalist design glides effortlessly from the office to dinner without missing a beat. Powered by Omega's coaxial movement, it offers precision timing whether you're dashing for the train or daydreaming about open waters. And with 150 metres water resistance, it can handle a dive, though it's more likely to find itself lounging by the pool. For those who value versatility, the Aqua Terra delivers style and substance without being flashy. It's understated elegance with just enough edge to make you feel like James Bond on his day off. But here's the rub. It costs more than the Seamaster Diver 300. Sure, it's got a fancier movement and high magnetic resistance, twin barrels for improved accuracy and longer power reserve. But is it really a better deal? The Diver 300 certainly looks more watch for the money. Still, logic really applies in the world of high-end watches, and honestly, I'd choose the Aqua Terra over the Diver 300 every day of the week. The Tissot PRX Quartz is a masterpiece in vintage cool, with its 1970s inspired integrated bracelet and sleek angular case. It exudes retro charm whilst packing the precision of a Swiss quartz movement, meaning it's as reliable as it is stylish. And the price? Well, it's a bargain when you consider the package. Timeless design, Swiss heritage and undeniable quality. No wonder Tissot keeps cranking out new dial variations. It's a cash cow, and rightly so. But let's peel back the hype. What's left of the PRX Quartz when the dust settles? Sure, it's Swiss, boasts a fantastic bracelet, and won't have your wallet crying. But is it really worth it? Consider the Tissot PR100. Essentially, the PRX's more conservative sibling. It's chunkier, has a more timeless design, and it's about 20% cheaper. In the long run, the PR100 may age better than the trendy PRX. So is the PRX overpriced? Yeah, probably, but somehow it's still worth every penny, if that contradiction makes sense. Please like and subscribe.